Hi there, Elaine Marolakos Edelson with Astrology Mojo and transformational astrology. I want to help you get your mojo back. So, yeah, let me just come say hello to me. Let me know that you're here. Today is November 7th, 2019, and we are well into the Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio. And how's everybody doing? Hello to me. And what's your sign? The greatest pickup line of all time. Hey baby, what's your sign? Who's your daddy? Is he rich like me? That's an old song. Okay, so wow, we are working on a lot of things, right? We're getting into what feels right. Are we trusting? That's the big question in a Scorpio Mercury in retrograde. Are we trusting, and what are we trusting? I am here, by the way, Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, unless something comes up and I've got to do something else. But this year is almost over. So let's think about what the whole year reflected for you. Now, numerologically, it's a 3-year, but for you, it could have been any number between 1 and 9. And what that means. I'd like to go over that in January sometimes too for the new year. But we could touch on it in a little bit, in the next talk. I will be back on Saturday, of course, and then again on Monday, 11/11. And we want to pay attention to our numbers, our feelings, the symbols, the vibes, everything that's going on, not just astrology, okay? Because astrology is one way to understand what's happening in your world, and by paying attention to the blessings and the obstacles, the challenges, the opportunities, it's not the thing that's doing it to you, it is you. It's like a lab report, okay? You want to look at your lab work via the planets, and you see, oh, I see where I get stuck. That's it. The planets don't do anything to you. We live in a cooperation with the cosmos. When the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, the cosmos inside of you and outside of you connects. So you feel it, right? It's a connection. We're all here together. Cuckoo, cuckoo. So what do you want to do with that? That's the question. That's the question. So I did a little meditation prior for today. And I pulled a rune for the group, and it was so beautiful. This is the rune that we have. Oh, by the way, welcome to my fairy boudoir with a little candle burning, a little chair. Come and join me. Okay. This is the rune that I pulled. It's called Joy. Looks like the letter P. It's called Joy, and it's called Wunjo, but it means joy and light, and it's a coming back to the self that when you've been through something tough and you can finally resolve the issue, not just externally, because that gets resolved when you work on the inside. That's how it works, because everything in here gets projected outward. So Wunjo is like the self coming back to the self. Properly aligned, body, mind, spirit connection can then kick into gear and get the job done, whatever that is. It's alchemical. Yeah, this rune is alchemical. So let's take that as a sign from the universe and the star seeds and the angels, and we want this energy to work through us, with us, and for us, and our beliefs across time, space, experience, karmic ties, dimensions, and all planes of existence, because that's where we come from. It's not just one life. I know for some people this is abstract, and it doesn't always connect because, it's just not your world. But metaphysics is what happens before the physics. Before you can bring something into being, you need to imagine it. You need to align the forces that you contain within your body. It's alchemical. So, yeah, you hear stories and seen movies and fantasy fiction and all that about alchemical turning, tin into gold or something like that. So it's like that. That's transmutation. Transformation is you get a concept, you work on it, something in your life changes, some part of you changes, and so some part of your life changes. Transmutation is when you, the biological you, becomes the next level of your being. And that is profound. And that is your given right. As a divine creature. Okay, hey, hi, Shada and Mindy and Annette. We're all here together. So if you're here, come say hello. We're going to be talking a little bit more about the Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio and how revelations are starting to come up for people and realizations. Now, this is not necessarily the time to act on things. It is the time to become aware of what it is and the why it is. And if you're going to act on anything, it would be an exercise to help you through the moment. It would be, as I spoke with someone earlier today, in fact, and gave them a suggestion to do. I'm going to share that with you. And that is, if you have an ongoing issue with a friend, family member, lover, spouse, and it's angst and it's conflict and there's something troubling you about this thing. One of the best things you can do, number one, is meditate to get really aware of who you are when you're with them. Okay, right? Who you are when you're with them. Because if it changes and you put up defenses or you withhold information, that's a Scorpio energy, then there's something troubling, right? And family, you can't always just say no to, like go away. Or you can, but, makes for kind of an ugly Christmas. But, I mean, if it's abusive, yeah, definitely, you say no and you walk away. But if it's just like, oh, there they go again, talking about their best mashed potatoes they ever made and, came out of a box, gack, and you just have to put up with, the stuff. Because we're coming up on holidays where their behaviors change a little bit. And, and then you add sugar and alcohol to the mix or cigarettes. And, it's like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to get in, get out. That's how it used to be. I'm just going to get in, I'm going to get out. But now, we set it up. My husband and I are in charge of what we do around the holidays. And that includes food, family, friends, who comes knocking at the door. Yeah. And why. So I think it's important too that you look at this conflict that you might be experiencing and how you can manifest your own outcome. You can. So before, okay, this is an exercise you do prior to the holidays, since Thanksgiving's coming up here in America. But before you are going to be with someone that causes conflict, what I would highly recommend is you do a writing exercise. This is the international symbol for writing. And you don't write down, typically I would say write down the things that bother you. What's the complaint? What's the angst? What's the conflict? What's the, what gets stuck in your craw, But now I want you to do the opposite. Because we're in a retrograde, and what happens sometimes is we can reverse energies in a retrograde and then see it from a different perspective. Okay, so if you have anyone in your life that there's angst with or conflict, and you spend a fair amount of time with this person, then I think it's important that this particular exercise, this writing exercise before you see them, is about what is the ideal. Picture the ideal day with this person. Oh, they're so supportive and they're warm and they're welcoming and they're friendly and they hug you and they give you a tissue when you cry, and they offer to make you tea, and they nurture you. Write the scenario as if it were what you needed. And once you do that, what comes up is the emotion around, they're never going to do that. They've never done that. Yeah, right. But as the judgments come up, set them aside, let the emotions come. You can cry, you can get angry, whatever, but continue, keep writing. And they hold my hand when I cry, and, they make me a cake, and it's my favorite dinner. They clean up for me, they offer, they praise, they validate all the things you think you're missing. Okay? So I think that would be important. Hi, Jesse's here. Let me just check in. I'm so, suddenly there's a flutter of things. Hi, Rosemary, Samuel. We have an Aries. Liana, Cancer, Sage, Butterflies, Transformation. Does that make sense? Because this particular retrograde is something where it's subtle, okay? It's subtle, but it can be like a slap in the face when you suddenly have a revelation like, I changed my approach, behavior, thoughts, energy before a meeting with this boss that scares the crap out of me, or an employee that intimidates me, or a friend that, there's stuff there and we haven't cleared it up, but oh well, let's just move on. The stockpiles. And you can clear up a lot now, and especially with family. And sometimes you cannot do it in person because they just won't hear it. They don't want to be part of it. They're not in the same conscious awareness space. And it doesn't mean it's better or worse or they're stupid. It doesn't. You want to just be where you are and say, I would like to have, even if I don't continue a relationship with this person, whoever they are, I would like to have peace when I think of them, when I bump into them at the supermarket, when I see them at Thanksgiving, when, whatever. You want to have the memory of someone after the angst and the conflict and the controversy, as if it were, last week's sandwich. Like, what was that again? Oh, yeah, it's a non-issue. So in a retrograde, typically for some people, it depends on the person. But I also recommend, too, that people have an awareness of consistent complaints. Now, somebody may have a complaint about you and you're thrown off guard and you go, oh, my God, I feel horrible. What? And it may be new to you. So you might be on that spectrum, right? Where someone says, yeah, you're really kind, but oh my God, you talk so fast, or you can be a bully, or you just disappear when I need you the most, or, and you're horrified and you think, I didn't know that. Well, I wish you had told me sooner, but you're being told now, maybe. And if you're being told something like that, then this is the time for you to get, oops, I'm playing with my happy magic cards and something just flipped out. Oh. Interesting, huh? Perfection. Mm-hmm. What does that look like in any relationship? Perfection, as I've said before, many times before, perfection is not, I run the race, I get past the finish line, ta-da, high fives, chugging beer, I'm done, champagne, chocolates, I can coast the rest of my life. No. No. If only it was so. Actually, perfection is realizing that in the moment you have total alignment. That is with body, mind, spirit. That means you are in sync in the most compassionate way. That's a state of perfection. Now, to maintain that is kind of tough in a body when we go through fluctuations of, it's sleep, it's food, it's hormones, it's chemicals, it's chemistry, it's thoughts, it's emotions. We have to negotiate a lot down here. Wait a minute. Who gave me the map? I had a map. It's gone. Darn. Yeah, there's no map. You have an inner compass that points you in the right direction once in a while. Right? Who else is here? Lucimata, what a beautiful name. Sag and Aries, LOL. Another Aries. We had a lot of Aries today. Fire. Ba 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 bow. You know, sometimes songs come into my head and I have no idea who sang them. I used to watch Name That Tune. Oh man, that was so stressful, but I loved it. And I would hear like the first 3 notes of something and go, oh, I know the song. Here's how it goes. But, you know, ask me who sings it or what year. I don't know. That's my husband's job. Who has been away, by the way, for almost 2 weeks. This is the longest we've been away since before we were married 24 years ago. He knows. I don't always remember. We've been together 27 years. And he used to go out on the road half the week. And it was perfect because I got to do my thing, the one half. And, you know, then we were a couple, the other half. And then, you know, life went on. And we work 30 feet apart from each other, actually. He's that way. But he's away. And I've been loving my time alone. But today it's official. Okay, we're almost at the 9-day mark. I'm like, yeah, you need to come home now. All right. Anybody out there who has this revelation in a Scorpio retrograde, especially now because the sun is conjuncting, which means within 8 degrees, and the closer it is within 4 degrees to 0 degrees, to like exact. In astrology, when 2 planets, or when the sun and moon, not planets, conjunct, they come in to, you know, in the universe, things are spinning around, right? So when alignments happen in the universe, and hang on. Here we go. I don't have anything to actually depict, hold on, to depict the sun, but we can just say, we can pretend. I bought this in Belgium. This is a tourmaline in a crystal for my 30th birthday. Ooh. Okay. And it actually matched the design I had for my business card, Harmony Through Balance. Anyway, let's just say, okay, here's the sun. Right? Planets are spinning around in the universe. The closer they are in degree, the more intense we feel things. More intensely we feel things. And sometimes that intensity is felt as positive, sometimes negative, but sometimes it's neither. It's just, oh my gosh, I just feel, I'm spinning, but I'm happy. And then I get sad. And so we have to be careful during intense conjunctions. So now the sun in Scorpio is now conjunct Mercury in Scorpio retrograde, right? So now what happens? The sun sheds light. This is all representational. This is what we like to look at in astrology. The sun sheds light in a masculine, very masculine approach. Mercury represents communication. Mercury retrograde is about inner communication. You see where we're going with this? Inner revelations. And then in Scorpio, it's profound, it stings, it hurts, it wounds, it puts up defenses, it's mind-blowing, it wants to judge, it wants to immediately transform. Oh, I realize I did this thing, or I realize they do that thing. Let's see if we could talk about it and work it out. That may not be the most amazing approach right now, I would say. You want to be really careful right now about what you say to people because it will come out of the blue. It will feel out of context for them. So you have to be careful. Complete confusion, says Brittany, and super frustrated with this feeling. Okay, if you're frustrated with the inner feeling, then we want to look at the elements that we're in. We're in the element of water. It's a fixed sign. It's the quality is fixed, but the element is water. Okay, so are you stubborn? If you're frustrated, if anyone listening to this is frustrated, and you could be listening to this in a replay, so this part is evergreen. It doesn't necessarily mean that just because today is November 7th, this is only for today. No. By the way, this conjunction goes on through next week. But if you want to understand Scorpio energy or Mercury in retrograde energy, this is evergreen, okay? So if you're frustrated, and we're in a water sign, now the 3 water signs are Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. They each have a different flow and energy to them. And so being in a Scorpio water flow is like the torrent. Like you're just realizing, you're paddling, and all those boat paddles. You're like, oh, this is so beautiful. And then suddenly you hear that sound and you go, what's that sound? It's getting louder. And suddenly you realize, here comes the cliff, here comes the waterfall. And, and you start screaming and flailing. The frustration is trying to fight the flow, okay? So if you're confused, if anyone is frustrated or confused, the most ideal, there are many ways, but the most ideal is to just get in touch with the moment. I feel this. A few deep breaths. Make sure you got it covered. Have I eaten today? Am I tired? Do I need rest? Am I overloading myself? So it brings up your behavior, right? And, okay, I just have to move my hair. So it brings up your behavior. So what's your behavior? What happens before the frustration? What's the moment you go from happy, neutral to frustrated? So these are the things that we want to look at. Now, what triggers all this? It can get so confusing, right? You're going along, la, 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 there's food around a corner, food around a corner. I used to watch this cartoon when I was a kid, and there was a flea and a dog, and that's what he'd be singing. Food around the corner. He'd be singing, there's food around the corner. Okay, and what happens? Oh, I keep pulling this card. I'm just playing, and it keeps popping out and flying out. I'm going to show it. Manifestation. Okay, what is the manifestation? That looks like an eye instead of a rose, doesn't it? Ooh, that is trippy. Okay, manifestation. What are you creating by way of thoughts and feelings and intentions? Remember, I talked the other day about intentions, about your intention, but you put your intention on your attention, you can create a manifestation in the moment. What is that? What do you want that to be? What's your ideal day? What's your ideal day with a person that you've been having conflict with? What's your ideal state of being? Okay, and the ideal is that thought of perfection. It's like, I'm never going to get there. I've been watching a show. I do this scan, like I'll scan it out for my family and go, let me watch it. I'll give it 10 minutes, see what it is. Oh, that's interesting. I'll go a little further. Oh my gosh, mind blowing. We got to watch this. So I started, and it's not new. It's been out there, but I started watching The End of the Effin' World, and the kind of British sardonic skew of life that I absolutely love. It's a little gory in parts. A little, but it's very, and then it's funny and it's amusing, and it shifts your mind into what a weird choice they just made, and I'm not giving anything away by saying, well, here's this kid who thinks he's a psychopath, and then what happens, and then what happens, and as the story unfolds, then you get backstory. Right? This is perfect description of life in retrogrades. You think you're watching a story about one thing, and then suddenly the next episode or 5 minutes or 3 minutes or 6 scenes are backstory. What's the backstory on these people? Oh my gosh, now you get it. It's like, oh wow, revelation. I could have had a V8. So you want to be looking at things in this retrograde that help you to realize it's not just what you see, it's the culmination of everything you thought you saw, who you are now, and who you're projecting into the future. Because you can only go around that same loop over and over and over again. You're anchored to a pattern, to behaviors, to thoughts, to feelings. So we come back full circle, to bring it out of the clouds and make it very concrete, not so abstract. Oh, every time I see Aunt Susie, you have to brace myself because she wants to know, well, who are you dating now? It's like, yeah, nobody. Really? Oh, that's so sad. And then like she throws the old maid card at you. Remember that? Who invented the old maid? Who invented that? I have to look that up. The old maid. Nobody ever wanted to be the old maid. And it never occurred to me that when I played with one of my closest and dearest relatives who was not married ever, and we'd play, and she was so fun, and she was a Leo, Scorpio rising, and we would play and we would bake, and she was like my mom. She was like my second mom. And we'd play, oh no, she got the old maid, ha ha ha, everybody laughed. And I grew up and I thought, she must have felt horrible. She just must have felt so bad. I never thought about that with that game, right? Who makes these games? Okay, I'm going to pull a happy card. Unless anyone has anything they would like to share regarding this retrograde and the conflict that they might have with someone, or that they're anticipating coming up on Thanksgiving, if you're in America here, or if you know that, for Christmas or Hanukkah or any of the holidays coming up, that, oh no, I'm dreading this person. I'm dreading seeing that. I'm dreading being with them. I'm dreading going to work next week because I stepped on somebody's toes and I didn't apologize. And I feel so bad, right? Anybody have any comments? I'm going to pull a happy card, happy magical card. All right. I'm asking the universe, and then I'm going to pull a rune. I pulled the joy, but I'll pull another one for fun. I'm asking the universe, angels, starseed, to help us pull a card for this time frame in the Mercury in retrograde, for everyone listening, even in a replay, that helps us to neutralize anything negative, including beliefs across time, space, experience, karmic ties, dimensions, and planes of existence. Whoa. I ordered a new deck of cards. Nothing yet. We're all focused now on, whoopsie. We're all focused now on what can help us, what focus can help us. There's a lot of distracted minds out there. I can feel that. Okay. All right, we have a few that want to come. These two especially. Perpetual transformation and intention. Okay. Ooh, it's like a ghost. Perpetual transformation. And the fairy portal. Perpetual transformation. Well, let's see if it shows up anywhere. No, it's a chair. Perpetual transformation. Perpetual transformation. That's what you are. Always and forever and ever and ever and ever. But you might think, oh my God, am I always going to be in debt? Oh my God, no. You're always going to be perpetually transforming. So focus on the thing you want to become. And that's what shows up next with intention. That's very clear. It looks like a Dr. Emoto crystal. This is very clear. Your intention, folks, universe is asking us to stay, to get jiggy with it, to stay focused on the fact that you are constantly transforming. And if you want to go in a direction that's just not like, yeah, let's wing it, like someone from the 60s who's on an acid trip, flying down the street in a motorcycle, we'll just wing it. Perpetual transformation plus intention equals manifestation. And so the faster you focus, the harder you focus. And then when you just let it go, it comes to you. So it's a combination of things. All right, now I'm going to pull a rune. Are you with me? I'm going to do some Bugs Bunny because I love Bugs Bunny. Firecracker, sis, boom, bah. You, rah, rah, rah. Now we're going to do a little runes, little rune magic. I love the way these tiles feel. How is everyone doing? Thumbs up, hearts, hello. Does this help? Or are you answering your email right now? Okay, let's focus. A rune to help get us through. Especially, I'll do another one for 1111. No, this is not for 1111. Let me get focused now. This is for you. On what else can help you focus and be the best you that you could possibly be. This one. I'm going to have to refer to my book on this one. It's been a long time since I've used these runes. And sometimes I just don't remember. After all, you're not what you thought you were at all. Oh, wow, interesting. Awaz. Sounds like something out of Avatar. Awaz. The great Awa. Awaz, defense. Avertive powers. See, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. I love this. Thank you, universe. That it says this may well be a trying time. Certainly it is a meaningful one. You are put on notice that through inconvenience and discomfort, growth is promoted. Okay? Delays are beneficial. So even if there appears to be an obstacle, which in retrogrades there usually are, even though doors will open, doors that you didn't know, they just magically appear like portals. Thank you, universe. But in particular retrogrades, especially like the more nebulous ones, and I would say that's a Scorpio or a Pisces, there's when Mercury is retrograde in those signs, there's a feeling of something's bubbling up from below. You know, it's like the cauldron of life. And the pot is always being stirred, but what's bubbling up to the surface? And it's that feeling of confusion, discomfort, conflict. But where does it stem from? Who are you? As I said earlier, when you're with those people that do not feel, when you don't feel at home or it doesn't feel effortless with a friend, family member, lover, spouse, coworker, whoever it is, when it doesn't feel comfortable, who are you when you're with that person, and why are you different than with other people? That's the question. What is it that puts you on defense? So it's good to go in and actually discover these things about yourself so that you can have this revelation that, oh my gosh, wow, I have been anticipating. I've been building up a scenario in my mind that's an illusion. That they have no issue with me. And here I am like, oh boy, I better be careful what I say, or I better be careful what I do, or I better keep my head down, that's the boss. You know, just be who you are. Be your authentic self. Set that intention to be authentic. But remember, if there's a whole lot of stuff behind it that you need to purge, not necessarily appropriate at Thanksgiving or around the dinner table. It's feeling it through in the retrograde, and that is through the end of November. Okay, it ends on the November 20th, but let's add another week. For a lot of people, it's 2 to 3 if you have Scorpio. And it's really coming to terms with, oh my gosh, yeah, it was me. It was them with me, but it was me. Because here's the big thing, folks. Fireworks go off. You are the magnet for everything in your life. Ta-da! Jazz hands. Okay, I will be back on Saturday, Tuesdays and Saturdays. No, not Tuesday. That's just an old Crosby, Still and Nash song. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Oh, Sage says, you are incredibly helpful. You're so welcome. He cheated. I can't get the forgiveness to be free of my sadness. It still hurts. Then work through it. If he cheated, I'm sorry to hear that. I've been there. I totally get it. If he cheated, then what are you allowing in the relationship? Where are the boundaries for you? So if somebody did something to you, and you want to listen to the last one I did, I talked about betrayal. You're gonna pluck that string, and it's gonna vibrate all the way back to your own behavior. Where are you the participant in this? Even if you're saying, why, all right, this is before I go. I talked to someone once who raised in a completely different generation and said to me, how could I attract getting robbed on the steps of the church? How do I attract that? And I said, well, I took a whole conversation and many, but the anger first. It's like, I'm not saying it's your fault. Okay? Don't misunderstand me. When we attract things, it doesn't mean it's your fault. It means you have an energy that screams victim. And because of past experience, because of terrible crap that you went through, and everyone has gone through something, right? So now we want to become aware of those moments when you feel like a victim, when you feel betrayed, when you feel wounded, when you feel frustrated. And when you become aware of that, deal with it in healthy ways. Punch a pillow, write about it, get it out of your system, and then you make sure you're taking care of your body, your mind, and your spirit, okay? Because if that betrayal, and I've been there, oh my gosh, like big time there, right? Many years ago. Not only that, it was like living with the guy, and he comes home, and we're watching a show. He worked in television, and we're watching a show, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I know her. Yeah, we had a it slipped. It's like her on TV. Like, how do I compete with that?" So it's like blew my mind. And then I realized, as through growth, that I didn't have the boundaries. And so it's not a fault. It's an awareness. It's a growth into becoming powerful. Scorpio energy represents, on one spectrum, it is selfless service. It is power. It is transformation. It is manifestation and magnetism. It is sexual. It is sensual. It's just so magnetic and mystical. On the downside, and everything on this earth has an opposite effect, it is jealous, it is manipulative, it is betrayal, it's wound, it's the sting, it's sexual abuse. You see what I'm saying? So we're looking for what's the variance? Where is the meter falling for anyone? So you want to look at, okay, you're sad, be sad. If anybody's frustrated, be frustrated, but don't stay there. We're not looking to stay there and then create blame and then more of the same with the next person, right? That's what we usually do. So you want to get you present. I feel it. I choose not to, but I'm not going to stop myself from feeling, find balance. And then I let it go. And then in the moments that I let it go, I'm neutral. I am empowered. I love who I am. I am kind. I am supported. All the affirmations, okay? And then, we go through these waves of feelings and we're going to feel them. Whoa, 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 feelings again. I never liked that song. I'm sorry I sang it just now. Have I betrayed you? I hope not. I'll come up with something better to sing next time, or not at all. I apologize. I can't help it. Sometimes I break into song. I'm not minimizing anyone's pain. Pain is pain. Whether you just got shot, and I've known people, or somebody just broke up with you, or somebody literally stepped on your toes, or, pain is pain. It's just to the degree we allow ourselves to hold that pain like a sack on our shoulder and we carry it through our lives. Aren't we done with the dead horses? Nice deep breath, everybody. To come home to ourselves and honoring all emotions is healing. It's true. It really is. And so I think that if you can be more present with your feelings, write about them, talk to a counselor, trusted friend, and not people who take sides. This is not about blame. People do things. There are people who do terrible things in this world. But your energy, uplifting, actually deflects that from your life. And then the rest is a mystery, right? And that's what we're here to try to solve, like detectives. Also, very investigative energy in a Scorpio, Mercury in retrograde. So go searching for that thing. Why? What's the why? What's the worst that can happen? Then ask yourself again, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? It is my time right now, 11:11. Thank you, angels. Thank you, Starseed. Thank you, light workers and beings. Thank you for being here. Mary Gleason, oh my gosh. I just had my Mercury retrograde sighting. Haven't seen Mary in years. Hope you're doing well, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being. I'll be back on Saturday. We're going to talk more about it and bring one topic with you. One topic you'd like to smooth out. What is that conflict that you keep having over and over and over again? Is it a judgment? Is it a wound? Do you feel betrayed? And it's not about the other person. We're going to go fishing. Be well. I'll see you then.